Hey everyone, this is Brenton again. In this video we'll look at the relationship between mind and body. Evidence suggests that there is a correlation between what we think and the way we think and what is happening in our body. If you think about it, how does something go from a thought such as I want to move my arm to your arm actually moving up and down? A lot of functions in the body are carried out autonomously, but your body doesn't normally just do something like standing up and walking to the other side of the room without you thinking at first. You normally have to think, I want to walk to the other side of the room. Then what happens? How do you get there? Well, some may say the motor cortex part of the brain sends a message down the thousands of nerve fibers in the spinal cord to the leg muscles telling them to move. So the act of you walking across the room begins with a thought, then via the brain, nerve muscles, etc., it turns into a physical action. In a similar fashion, is it possible that your thoughts may cause changes in your body that it could affect your health? This does seem to be the case. You have 100 billion neurons in your brain, and each of these has, on average, around 10,000 supporting neurons. When you think a thought, different chemicals called neurotransmitters are released. These are basically chemicals used for communication between cells. The effect of neurotransmitters on the body does not only depend on the type of neurotransmitter that is released, but the part of the brain it's released in. So if you're thinking positive thoughts, you're most likely getting a good feeling and a positive beneficial response in your body. If you're thinking a negative thought, you might experience a negative response such as stress, and in turn this could affect your immune system. An article by Segerstrom and Miller stated that with 300 studies carried out over 30 years on stress and immunity in humans, they collectively show that psychology challenges are able to make changes to features of the immune system. If you think, for example, participants in medical trials that are given fake treatments such as placebo, you still have a third of people experiencing relief from symptoms. Unless you were to suggest that sugar pills just happen to magically cure an enormous range of diseases, you would have to say that this effect must relate to the person's thought or belief that they have received an effective treatment. Information on in the article How Stress Affects Your Health on the American Psychological Association's website point out in one study half of the participants saw an improvement in chronic headaches after learning how to prevent themselves from thinking negative thoughts. They also mentioned in another study, which looked at the relationship between positive emotions, coronary heart disease over a decade, and found that heart disease dropped by 22%. Stress seems to have a major impact on our body's ability to heal itself and regulate chemicals such as hormones. I think it would be interesting to ask the question if what we think can affect our immune system and also potentially alter the behaviour of tiny subatomic particles, which we'll discuss more in the next video. Is it not possible that because all these tiny particles make up all matter, including our bodies, that our thoughts could affect us on the smallest subatomic level, which in turn affects atoms, which combine to make up molecules, which then make up the cells in our body? It's an interesting question to ask. Is it possible that we are creating our health from the ground up, beginning with the smallest possible level? So now we have seen that our thoughts can lead to physical changes in our body. And for the last video, we'll take it this step further and see if our thoughts can have an influence on things outside of our body.